Yesterday I talked to an angel, a gentle, sweet angel. Yesterday I talked to an angel, she gave my life back to me. She spread her color cards around and studied them without a sound. Then she looked at me and said, your dreams will all come true. Her eyes
Good morning, and welcome to Movement and Meditation. My name is Patton White, and I am the Artistic and Administrative Director of Beacon Dance, and am happy to have you with us this morning in this continuing series that is a somatic-based experience, and we're using this as an opportunity to go deeper into the body and to find for ourselves what sort of balance we might be able to strike between our mind and our body in this idea of centering. This is based in large part on the work of Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen, but I also draw on other sources of inspiration. The work of Min Tanaka, who's a Japanese-based artist, and his body of work called Body Weather, and then some other resources as well. But we're going to go ahead and get started with today's and this week's focus. So this week we are going to be focusing on the organs system, this week and next week both. And we're going to be finding for ourselves specific connection to a couple of different organs this week and next week. And that will also provide the inspiration for our story circle that we're going to be doing on Wednesday. So to start us off, I'm going to read a little bit from one of Bonnie's books. And this is a sort of a description of the various organ systems, the various body systems. And amongst them, we've already spent some time with our skeletal system and our muscular system. This week, like I said, we're going to be focusing on the organs. And this is what she says. The organs carry on the functions of our internal survival: breathing, nourishment, and elimination. They are the contents within the skeletal flesh container. They provide us with our sense of volume, full-bodiedness, and organic authenticity. Organs are the primary habitats or natural environments of our emotions, aspirations, and the memories of our inner reactions to our personal histories. And on Wednesday, when we're doing our story circles, that's part of what we're trying to tease out, is that idea of the emotions and the stories that come from experiencing those emotions. All right. So the organ that we're going to be focusing on today is our heart. And the heart, according to Bonnie's research, is the organ of circulation and relationship, the warmth of passion and compassion, being open/closed to others, the love/hate, authenticity, true to oneself, generosity, awareness, and action filtered through qualities of fire and magnetism. generosity, awareness, and action filtered through qualities of fire, and magnetism. All right, so I will invite you to follow along as you are willing and able, either seated, and I think I'm going to take some time to do some work standing, but also a fair amount of work seated. Back up just a little bit so more of my full body is available to be seen. So let's take a moment to just close our eyes, take a nice big deep breath, and exhale. Feeling, as Bonnie was talking about, how the contents of our torso, all the way down into the bowl of the pelvis, all the way up to the top of the shoulder girdle. All of this is our contents and that sense of volume of our body. Our body consisting of the torso, the limbs, the head appendage. And just closing your eyes, like I said, and allowing yourself to bring your awareness to all of the internal organs, all of the contents. Breathing in, exhaling. And now we're going to bring our awareness specifically to our heart. That is the organ we're going to be focusing on today, and also with our story circle. So take a moment to find for yourself that awareness of where the heart is. Let's go ahead and actually just place your hands over the area of the body. So it's just underneath the sternum, slightly to the left-hand side of the body. Direct your air or the breath into this organ. So as we're breathing in and out, try to send that sense of breath into the heart. Breathing in and sensing that idea of opening, and exhaling and allowing the sense of closing. Inhaling, opening, exhaling, closing. Now let's let the arms just drop down by our sides. Continuing this focus, you can place your hands, if you want, on the knees or the tops of the thighs. Inhaling and exhaling. Opening and closing. And with this rhythm that we have going on now, let's begin to just have a sense of a relationship to the beating of the heart and a simple movement gesture with the hands. Allowing the hands to begin to move down towards the knees and up towards the pelvis, around to the sides of the hips. Back down towards the knees. Out to the sides of the legs. Back to the tops of the thighs. And now let's take one hand and actually let's just start right up here at the top of the shoulder. So we're close to the heart itself, but just a firm pat. And then let it begin to move down the inside surface of the arm down to the hand, turning the hand over, moving back up the outside of the arm, and then back down the inside. Back up the outside. And shifting to the opposite side now. So starting with this idea of the rhythmic beating of the heart, stimulating, wakening up the nerves, the skin, turning the arm over, coming back up the outside of the arm. And one more time, back down the inside. And now both hands right up here on the chest. And now let's take a little bit of a faster knocking with the fingertips on the sternum. So this is kind of just above where our heart is. And we're drawing awareness to this area that protects the heart. But still feeling that same sense of a relationship to the rhythmic activity that the heart brings to our being. That sense of opening and closing. And now let's take this tapping and begin to move up the sides of the neck and up to the top of the head. Around to the back of the head. back up to the top of the head. And now we're going to take a moment to just brush and then give ourselves a little bit of a massage. So again, from the top, brushing down the back of the neck, bringing the backs of the hands together, crossing the center point of the body around to the back side, brushing down the outside of the legs, coming up the inside of the legs, and then all the way back up to the top of the head, and we repeat, brushing down the back of the neck, around to the front. And here, let's take a moment to just move up and down the sternum with that back side of the hand, so this area of our hands. Finding this sense of a meridian and then moving the hands down around the outside of the legs, all the way down to the feet, across the top of the feet, up to the inside of the thighs, and now let's brush. Again, with that sense of a rhythmic action, brushing. First the tops of the thighs, and now the outsides of the thighs. And now let's come to the insides of the legs. And let's come back to the center now. And then just pause and for a moment find an awareness of where you are in this moment. How is your body responding to this activating through the heart, the organ of the heart itself? And now let's take a little bit of a soft circling in the knees. And kind of taking a moment to think about the knee joints themselves and our relationship to the heart. Now reversing the direction of the circling. And coming back around to the insides. So the heart brings an awareness emotionally also to this idea of loving and hating. And of course, those are the two extremes of that particular spectrum of emotion. Love and hate. We can find different places along that spectrum. But we can have this sense of love or hate with different parts of our bodies and how they function over time as well. And so right now, I'm just giving this idea of the massaging, rubbing on my knees, this idea of giving my knees some loving, some heart attention. And let's take this same sense of massaging and rubbing action and move it into our elbows. So moving to a different joint taking a moment just one side at a time, bringing that sense of the heart into the elbow joint, moving to the opposite side. Alright, so since I've given my knee joints and my elbow joints a little bit of extra love, I'm going to go ahead and stand for a little while and do some more movement that involves these joints with having prepared them a little bit with this idea of the love of the heart. So let's just sink down and then rise back up. And allowing the knees to just melt, trying to keep the heels fully on the floor, and then stretching in the knees, and again releasing. Just a very soft, gentle melting in towards the floor, and then stretching. And now I'm going to add a little bit of action with the upper body, going into our opening flow from Qigong, bringing this idea of the heart, the idea of opening and closing, breathing in and out, sending the breath into the heart, sending the heart into the joints of the knees and elbows. And now let's build upon this and go into our expanding our opening, pressing forward and lowering down. Melting. Opening, closing. Finding a relationship to this music. Regular metered, it's very fast tempo, but we're moving slowly through all of these very quick, rapid notes. And now we're going to expand and open into the 6 directions. And out to the side. Again, melting and melting and melting and releasing, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing. And let's take a moment to just notice for yourself after doing that what your energy is feeling like. What those joints are, the knees and the elbows, after having given the loving intention from the heart to those joints. Has it made Let's take a moment to just sway side to side in concert with the music. And now slight circling. And reversing the direction. And again reversing. And now we're going to go into our embrace the tree pose. So you can again do this either seated or standing. My feet, if you're standing, are a little bit wider than my hip sockets, maybe shoulder width apart. And I'm just wrapping my arms in front as if I'm embracing a large tree. And we're going to find the heart supporting this action. That idea of the opening and closing. We're not quite open, we're not quite closed in this position. Sort of somewhere right on the edge. And as we're holding this, we're finding how the armpits are kind of helping us to support the arms themselves. Just a few more moments. What are you feeling? I know that for me, this music is very invigorating, and for me, it's definitely going to start my Monday off in a very sort of excited way. This is going to be an exciting and interesting week in many ways. We do have the election tomorrow for the country, and yes, I would say that over the next few days we are going to need to find those times where we need to just sit calmly, listen to the heart, listen to the beating, the opening, the closing, the love. I will stress the love that our heart can bring us. And on Wednesday, we will have our story circle on Zoom. So if you would like to participate in that, make sure that you email me at patton@beacondance.org so that I can send you the link to join. And our prompt will be to share a story of when you either felt open or closed to somebody or to something. I'll say either somebody or something. And and then on Friday we'll be back with some of this similar movement material, but also through the lens of some of the ideas and themes that surfaced during the Story Circle period. I hope you have a really great week, and I look forward to seeing many of you on Wednesday. And again, I cannot stress enough, just keep breathing and know that that our hearts are all in the right place. Thanks so much for being with me today. Bye-bye.